Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to go about creating the 3D design for your keychains that you will ultimately end up 3D printing. So first thing is you need to start with some sort of boundary box, okay? And as we went over on the project packet handout sheet, you have two different size options. You can either do a square keychain, so if you're going to go that route, I would use your rectangle tool and go ahead and draw a 2 by 2 inch square, and then you can go ahead and design your keychain within the square to make sure that it's not too big. The other option too was you can do a rectangle, which is 1 inch tall by 2.5 inches long, and same thing, if that's the style that you're looking for, go ahead and draw the box, then start designing within the box so that you ensure that you're not making this too big and then you end up having to redo it. So for the rest of this tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and use the rectangle option because that is probably the most common one. Once you have your size, what you're going to want to do next is you're going to want to do a 2D fillet on all 4 corners. So you're going to click on fillet, and the radius of the fillet is going to be 0.25, and you're going to go ahead and round each of the 4 corners. Again, you'd do this too even if you were doing the square keychain. Once you have that, you do need to use your circle tool and put in a hole for the key ring to fit through. The diameter of the hole is going to be 0.125 inches. The one big thing that you have to make sure you pay attention to is where you place this circle in relation to the corner of the keychain. You don't want to place the circle very close to the outside corner, because over time this tiny little space right here will snap off and break. At the same time, you don't want to take and put the circle way too far in because we'll never actually be able to fit the key ring through there. So a good distance is about 1/4 inch or so away from the outside. So that distance between the top left corner and the circle is a good distance. So once you have that in place, you're going to go ahead and extrude it. Go up to 3D model, extrude, magnifying glass. You're going to click on the keychain, that's what you want to extrude, and the extruded distance is going to be 0.125, and you're going to click OK. So now we have the 3-dimensional dog tag template, if you will. Next, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start a new 2D sketch on top of the keychain. And most people will end up using images or logos off the internet to trace over to design their keychains. If you don't, if you're just doing it by hand, then you can just go ahead and start using any of your 2D drawing tools. For those of you who are using images and logos from the internet, you'll have to go to Google and go to Google Images and search for an image you want to use. Obviously, being a huge Steelers fan, that's right, 6 Super Bowls, the most of any team. I'm going to use a Steelers image. I'm just going to do their logo, and I will use, I use this image right here. Click on the image, right click, and go down to Save Image As, which that logo is not letting me do. Alright, right there, Save Image As. Make sure over on the left-hand side here in the browser, you click on Computer and scroll down and save it into your Z drive and give it a name. Okay, go ahead and click Save. Then go back to Inventor, and again, make sure you've started a 2D sketch on the top of the keychain. You're going to go up to Image under your Insert column in the ribbon. Click on Image, find that logo that you just saved, open it, and click and place it on your screen. Now, if I hit my magnifying glass, my image is way too big for my keychain. Also, some of you, and it's weird, it just happens randomly to some people, your images might come in turned or rotated. So I do want to just go over how to rotate it quickly if it does end up happening to you. Under your Modify column up in the ribbon, if you click on Rotate, in the dialog box, there's going to be two arrows. There's two things you have to select. The first thing is it wants you to select what do you actually want to rotate. So I would want to rotate the image. You're just going to hover right along the very edge of your image and click and select that edge. Okay, it can be any edge. It'll highlight the whole image for you. Then come back to the dialog box and you're going to click on the other arrow under center point. For this, I always pick the top left corner. And now once I swing my mouse, you'll notice that you get a dotted outline of a box. This is the new rotation of the image. So if I wanted to flip this completely upside down, I would rotate it up to there and click, and it now has rotated the Steelers logo. And if you mess up, just go back, do the same process, and repeat it. I'm going to hit undo though, because mine did come in correctly this time. So the next thing we got to do is we obviously got to shrink this thing down because it's way too big. So I'm going to go back up to my Modify column in the ribbon, and I'm going to click on Scale. Same type of procedure. There's two arrows in the dialog box. The first thing you have to click on is what do you actually want to scale. So I'm going to click on the edge of the image again. I'm going to come back to the dialog box. I'm going to click on the other arrow for base point. It asks you where do you want to start scaling the image from. And same thing, I use the top left corner, and once you've selected the corner, you're going to slide your mouse diagonally, and you'll start to see a dotted line for the new size of the image. So I am going to click right about there, is as small as I can get it for right now, which it's still too big. If I drag this over to the side here, you'll see it's too big. So I'm just going to simply have to repeat the process. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to go back up to scale, click the edge of the image, base point, click the corner, and shrink it a little bit further. Okay, drag it onto the keychain. Looks good. Next, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to center the logo on the keychain. So in order to do that, you're going to use your line tool. You're going to hover right down the left-hand side until you get that green dot. Boom. And you're going to click and draw a line straight over to the other side. You're going to do the same process along the top. And boom, green dot, draw your line straight down. Now you can just simply click and drag your image right where those two lines crisscross, and that will give you the center. Okay. Once you have it lined up, you can go ahead and click on and delete those lines you just drew. Now, to start tracing your image, okay, most of you are going to have to use Spline tool because most of you have curved or irregular shaped lines. Okay, if you don't, if you just have straight lines, you can go ahead and just use your line tool and start tracing. But again, a majority of images and logos are going to have curved lines. So, first thing you got to do is you have to zoom into your image. The closer and the more you're zoomed in, the easier it's going to make your life. Okay, so I'm just going to focus right here on this yellow diamond. Now, the tool I'm going to use is going to be located underneath line, so I'm going to click the arrow. There's two splines. There's Spline Control Vertex, and the one below it says Spline Interpolation. You always want to use the second one down, called Interpolation. The way that this works is you have to make 3 clicks. You have to start the line, you have to bend the line, and then you have to end the line. So start, bend, and end. So I'm going to click right here to start the line, and as you notice, my line is straight because I haven't made that second click yet to start bending it. The second click you should make is wherever your image starts to bend. So this yellow diamond kind of starts to bend right about here is the middle. So I'm going to click there. Now as I continue to stretch the line, it's going to bend. And you're going to keep stretching it until or I'm sorry, you're going to keep stretching it, making sure that you stay right over top your image. And the third click again will end it, and you just click on the check mark and say OK. And as you can see, there's those 3 dots. This is where I started it. I bent the line right here, and that's where I ended it. So I'm going to go back to Spline Tool, and I'm going to do the same thing. However, the other very, very, very important thing is you have to make sure that you are starting right over the end point of the spline, okay, the line you just drew. So just like when we use Line Tool, I'm going to hover over that green little square up there until I get my green dot. Boom. That tells me those 2 are exactly lined up. And if you're not zoomed in, if I'm trying to do this, looking at it like this, it's going to be very hard to tell. It's going to look like I'm lined up, but it's not. So I'm going to click once to start it, click where it bends, and stretch it to the end. Click the check mark, say OK, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up this diamond quick. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Start, bend, and end, and check mark. Okay. Once you've gone ahead and you've traced everything you needed to, you no longer need that image, so you can just simply click on the image right on the edge of it and hit delete on your keyboard, and it'll go away. So all I'm left with now is the diamond, which I need to extrude. So I'm going to go up to 3D Model, Extrude, click on the diamond. Now, if your diamond or whatever shape you trace does not highlight, there is a gap somewhere in the outline of whatever you just tried to trace. So again, you're going to have to zoom back in, and you're going to have to really look at these and see if there's any gaps or spaces that you ended up mistakenly putting in. So extrude, click on the diamond. The extruded distance this time is going to change. It's going to be 0.0625, and click OK. And there we go. Next, you're going to have to color the keychain. Another important tip is that whatever the color plastic that you're going to use to print the keychain, it has to match your drawing. Okay, so we don't have pink plastic. Don't color your keychain pink. Okay, so I'm going to click on the dog tag. I'm going to go up to my color wheel next to default, and I'm going to pick a color. We do have blue plastic, so I'll, for the purpose of this video, I'll say blue and click my check mark. Okay, you do have to color the entire keychain. Okay, this is a big mistake students make. So if I spin this around, I did not color the edges, and I didn't color the inside of the hole, and I certainly didn't color the back of the keychain. Okay, so a really cool tip with this is once you have selected your color, if you hold Shift on your keyboard, you can select multiple surfaces at once, and you can spin around and you can keep on going as long as you hold Shift. And you can get all of them that you need to. Rotate this up and click OK. So I've colored the whole dog tag part. Same thing, I'm going to have to color everything that's on top of the keychain, every surface of it. So I'm going to click the star. I'll make this one, let's say orange. We do have orange plastic. So again, I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to click on all these little surfaces and make sure I color everything. Click OK. And there we go. It'll be done. When you get to this point, you're going to save it, put it on a border, fill out the title block, you're going to print it, you're going to print all the orthographic views, the front view, the top view, the right side view, and the isometric. Print it out in color, so you're going to print to the color printer. Show it to me. Once I've okayed it, I will give you the sign-up sheet, and you can put your name down to start 3D printing. Good luck. Let me know if you guys got any questions.